10 more mistakes. Number 1, he found out a receipt in a cafe. There is a big difference between find out and find. Yeah, he found a receipt in a cafe. Find is what you do when you're looking for something and eventually you find it. But find out means discover information. And so you can't find out a wallet. You can't find out your keys. You can only find your keys, you can find your wallet, but you can find out the time the train leaves. You can find out when the football match is going to start. Okay, number 2, there were some patients who were died in a strange way. Again, too many words. In this sentence, there's an extra word which you don't need, and I hope you can all see it's this one. There were some patients who died in a strange way. This doesn't need to be passive, it's active. Who died in a strange way? Okay, number 3. It was very difficult for understanding. Very common mistake for people to use for and a verb when no. I mean, we use for and a noun. 4 plus noun, 2 plus infinitive. It was very difficult to understand. It was very difficult for me to understand. But we don't say for understanding. It was very difficult to understand. Remember that we use 2 plus infinitive after adjectives. I speak about this in my gerunds and infinitive class. So we use 2 plus infinitive. And yeah, it's never going to be 4 plus this for understanding. We usually use 4 plus a noun. Okay, number 4, he stayed a clamp around the heart. This was about an episode of Sherlock where a doctor, a surgeon, he performed an operation and he forgot about a little surgical clamp, which is a piece of metal which is to hold something in place when you're performing the operation. He forgot about it and he left it in the body. So there's a very big difference between stay, which is like stay in a hotel, or stay somewhere like stay somewhere because you choose to stay somewhere. You might choose to stay at home because it's raining outside. That's fine. So stay in a hotel or stay at home because it's raining. But there's a very big difference between leave or be left. And I think it's all 3 of these which confuse people. What you need to say here is he left a clamp around the heart. Because he didn't stay anything. You can't stay something. You can only leave something behind. For example, in the morning I left my car keys at home and I couldn't get in my car, and perhaps I took the bus into town to take my car somewhere, but I left my car keys at home. Perhaps you left your wallet at home. But we use this word leave for when you leave something accidentally somewhere. Okay, number 5, he didn't know they looked at him at that moment. The problem is, with this, at that moment, we were in the middle of this action, and so we need past continuous. They were looking at him. If you don't understand why, please watch my past continuous video where I talk about the difference between past continuous and past simple, because this is clear to me that it must be past continuous. Okay, number 6, another problem with say. Next, he stayed at the window and looked out. Stay does not mean stand. Next, he stood at the window and looked out. Okay, you can stay at a hotel, you can stay at home because it's raining, but you can't. Well, why would you stay at the window? You might stay near the window because you want the sun on your face. That's possible. You stayed close to the window to make sure the sun. But it means remain in place, and so that sounds very strange to me. You normally say he stood by the window. In fact, he stood by the window and looked out. Okay, number 7, she put her phone in the toilet bowl. Why? Yeah, it's an expensive piece of equipment. I know that the student meant dropped, not put. Nobody puts their phone in the toilet bowl. But a lot of people drop it in the toilet bowl when they're perhaps leaning over and it falls out of your pocket or something like that. Number 8, he insisted his wife having plastic surgery. It's almost correct. You just need one more word. You need a preposition here. He insisted on his wife having plastic surgery. Number 9, I was driving my bike. Now, you only drive cars. you ride a bike. So I was riding my bike. And lastly, this episode tells about his childhood. I don't like tell about. I don't think it's correct. I think it's absolutely wrong. Tells me about is fine. Tells him about, tells us about, that's fine. But I think this sentence we'd normally just say is. This episode is about his childhood. This book is about the Napoleonic Wars. Whatever it is about, not tells about. Tell someone about, okay? It's always tell someone about. Tell me about, tell the teacher about, tell your parents about. Okay, I hope that's all clear. If there's anything which is a bit confusing, please ask a question under the video and I'll be delighted to answer you. Thanks for watching.